so very much, everyone, for staying with us here on Global Television. And this is how we welcome you to Global Morning. Today, I'm Uyi Agbomofuegbe. By the time we open up the shot for you this morning, you're going to think it's a uniform sort of outfit, but it's a bit of a coincidence, one that is very pleasant and hopefully will happen a couple of times in the near future. Jumai Mansing. I don't know. I think
drum roll.
No, you took a cue from me.
I did. Yes, I did. I took a cue. But good morning, Uyi Agbomofuegbe.
You have the right to. My lawyers will not come for you, trust me.
Let them come for me. Good morning, Uyi, once again.
Good morning
to each and every one of you out there. I'm Jumai Mansing, aka Ambassador of Gratitude. Wow. Thanks to Uyi. Uyi gave me that new
Feels
name.
great to have a new portfolio, doesn't it?
Yeah. Like everyone came out and said, Jumai, you're now an ambassador for gratitude. And I said, thanks to my amazing co-host, Uyi Agbomofuegbe, who came out and gave me that amazing name. Thank you, Uyi.
You're most welcome. It was a pleasure. But you didn't mention that we didn't send you an invoice for that.
Yes,
we don't intend to.
You don't intend to?
No, we don't.
Really?
Right,
okay.
Of course. That's what we do when we're in a good mood like this. But so good to know you're joining us as well. Let's keep that mood going, because that's what we are known for, is the reason we won the award for being the happiest people.
Exactly.
But we came second in 2024.
Yes, we did.
Right.
Yes, we did.
Hopefully we'll go back to number one.
Yeah, hopefully. It shows that Nigerians are very happy individuals. Nothing that comes to us or comes like we experience can actually weigh us down. We always find a way to mimic or make a joke out of it. Right. I think that's why a lot of people are not hypertensive, or some who do not look after their health. But Nigerians have a subtle way of making things douse down and bring calm and all of that, but all the same, we're happy people. For me, gratitude is key.
And you know, people always talk about how that's the reason government keeps taking us for granted. Politicians continue to exploit us. We take too many things lightly, or my mom would say we handle so many things with the left hand and things like that. But the question is, what really can you do under certain circumstances? All right. I mean, life goes on, they say.
Yes, it does.
There are challenges, policies are not going well, economy is biting hard, subsidy one day suspended, the next day fuel is selling for over 1,000 naira.
High tariff, unemployment,
of course,
food hike.
Yes, and then of course you're talking about inflation numbers going up, shooting right through the roof and things like that.
Yeah.
These are not things that individuals can readily tackle. They don't have a handle on those issues. I mean, we can't change our narrative by fighting ourselves every day. So most Nigerians take solace, if you like, in looking at the bright side of life.
Yes.
And asking themselves, while this may not be working now, what exactly has been working? How can we, if you like, find some sort of consolation in what is working? And that has kept many Nigerians going for many years. And like you mentioned, you'll be shocked if we were to have the study now, how much that has helped to prevent hypertension to a very large extent.
Yes, it has. And that is why when a Nigerian is in another country, the Nigerian tends to thrive, because what the individual has faced in Nigeria will give you that motivation to work much more harder than the individuals who were born, raised, and actually stay in that particular country. And that's why they say Nigerians are hard workers, Nigerians are go-getters, because the pepper that we have seen, I'm just kidding, or let's say because our system, we're trying to make it work, but from where we're coming from, someone will tell you our system is not working. And when you go all out there, you see a system that works, it's so easy to just fit in and just adapt and adjust and know that these people are not even facing anything compared to where I'm coming from. So that's why Nigerians are always up on the go. They're always proactive. And when you find themselves, like you said, we are happy people. We try as much as possible to make a joke of whatever we're going through, not because it's fun, but just because life must go on. And that's the only way we can keep ourselves abreast with the reality of what is ongoing at the moment. So it's very important.
You know, I saw somebody who posted something just the days before today, and the person was saying that, look, those Nigerians who always complain, the ones in Europe and in America, that look, I'm doing 2 jobs, I'm doing 3 jobs, or I'm doing a job, I'm going back to school, I have a baby in between and stuff like that. That, look, you complained you didn't have a job in Nigeria. Now you have 2 jobs. Are you not supposed to be grateful? But somebody said, look, they're actually not complaining, is some sort of tactic to distract people at home from putting financial pressure
on them.
Right.
But at the same time, you know that when you travel abroad, you will have financial pressure because you have individuals at home who actually depend on.
And in some cases, they part sponsored you.
Exactly. So what are you saying?
Right.
So, guy, when you're making that money, you owe. You owe us. Like it's an entitlement. It's like an entitlement. Like I have brothers.
We come friends too on that.
Exactly. Oh God, I wish my brothers were watching that because they know how we say it.
Right.
Despite all, and we tell them, hey, okay, you guys are the ones making the money. Oh yeah, now do the needful. We're here waiting. Hurry up and do the needful. But all the same, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful experience once you understand that we are happy people. It doesn't matter what is being tagged on us as corrupt country or we are full of fraudsters and all of that. We are happy people, intelligent individuals, and I think that has paved way for us when it comes to health sectors in America, in Britain, and all of that. You see, at the forefront, they're Nigerians. So
even tech now.
Nigerians are there.
Right.
So I think there's something that we should understand, that it doesn't matter what it is, we're still making waves and happy people. Yes, we are tagged. Yes, we are.
And those who are giving us tags that do not belong to us, you've got to realize that we're now telling our stories by ourselves.
Yes, we are.
All right. Yes, we can have issues with those who are now doing skits and all of that, but we've seen people who are very intentional, young people, those who have gone ahead of them, who are doing content that tells the Nigerian story and indeed the African story the way it should be told. So gone are those days when one person from Europe or anywhere else outside of this continent would come with a camcorder and record some slum somewhere in Lagos and tell the entire world this is what Africa or Nigeria looks like.
Exactly.
As it stands today, we're telling our story in terms of how we're changing the narrative from across different sectors.
Yes.
Whether in agriculture, in education, how young people are innovating. I mean, a few years ago, we saw how that young people came up with an idea where, for example, if you have, let's say, a hospital in a rural area that needs to get maybe blood, all right, from a blood bank that is located in an urban area or the city center, you don't have to necessarily drive back and forth. You just use a drone to pick and the drone drops.
Nice.
And this will happen within the shortest time. This was a bunch of young persons who did this. Who is telling that story? But again, like I said, there's a new generation of storytellers who are now helping to not just straighten the narrative, but to organically tell the story the way it should be told.
It's very important that we tell our story. I saw, funny enough, I watched. There was this social media post, and the foreigner asked the Nigerian, "Do you people drive to your schools? Are you all in villages, in huts?" And it was like, "Are you kidding me? Okay, let me show you a picture of Abuja. Let me show you a picture of Lagos. Let me show you a picture. This is how we live.
Real people.
These are real individuals." They're like, "Oh wow!" So that is, we need to tell our story, not just telling it like a desiccally or not with any intent, but we need to tell it how it is. We have evolved. We might not be where they are, but we have evolved. It's not where we used to be. We have evolved in some sort of way. We're now exposed to some sort of thing. We're not exposed to technology. So it's just the same. It's just that they have much more equipment than us, more facilities, more tech than us, but we have evolved. It's not like how we were back in the day where we'll tie bamboo leaves or like that's the mindset some individuals have.
And you know, some of them, Juma, just to lend credence to what you're saying, actually think Africa is a country. So they do not know that we are a continent of 54 nations.
Exactly. We have a lot of African countries, so the mindset needs to change, and we need to tell our story. It's very important we put it all out there. We are unique in our own way. For as much as we now dress like the white men and we act like them, we try to imbibe their culture or their norms, their values into us, we still have values, we have culture, we are unique in our way. We have I would not stop. This conversation will be incomplete if I don't mention we have amazing food.
We do.
Really. So it's something that it's a balance of both worlds. So that mindset, we need to put it all out there and tell the story. It should be from us, and we should tell it how it is. It's very important.
Yes, we should. I saw a wedding video recently from somebody who is very close to me from Benue State.
Nice.
And you just wanted to see how colorful their attire was, all right, just for one part of one state. And then you look at other states, look at what women are doing with Ankara these days. I mean, I'm saying this because you mentioned how that even though we still may be wearing the white man's clothes,
exactly,
we are becoming more creative. We're
look
not
at
saying people who wear
the suits.
We're not saying people who wear Ankara suits and things like that.
Yes.
So we need to up our game in terms of creativity and redefine how we live, how we talk, what we eat, and as a matter of fact, the things we wear. We must redefine what is corporate.
Exactly.
You know, one time when a gathering and a lady told somebody, look, you don't necessarily need to wear suit and tie to say you're corporate.
No.
If you wear your agbada with your cap.
Oh my goodness, that is corporate.
So we must now see a shift in corporate culture that moves away from suit and tie. I mean, don't look at me. And then we're now talking about what is indigenous to us and how can we if you like, take advantage of that.
Yes.
All right. To redefine how we look at what is corporate, so that when you go to a bank, you go to a corporate environment.
Exactly.
You see Africanness, not just what the white man gave.
Yes, right. And it's I like what you said. It's very important that we inculcate that also. Like I said, it's a balance of both.
Right.
I will not just take all your ideas and inculcate them into mine. You should bring yours and I'll bring mine, and there is a balance so we can work in unison. It's very important. And you know, our Babariga with the cap is amazing. You cannot even... There's a big difference when it comes to, so it's all corporate, so hello, hi, and so it's something, it's a balance of both worlds. The world is evolving, so we must learn to take a mix of here, a mix of there, put it in to get that perfect style options, or that food options, or that tech options, or whatever it is we're trying to promote. It's very important that it's a balance of both worlds.
Right. Well, I'll say no more, Jimai. We're going to take a break now, but just to let you know that two big conversations are up ahead of us on Global Morning today. We'll be looking at organic baby foods. What are the health implications? Who is innovating what in that regard right now? And how much of benefits does that bring to the Nigerian and indeed the African infant? We'll look at all of those, including regulatory concerns on that front. Plus, we'll look at auctioning in Nigeria. There have been allegations of how the process has been tainted with so much of fraud and sharp practices. We'll be joined by the national president of the Auctioneers Association of Nigeria to help us understand what is happening in that regard and what exactly should be best practice. All of that and more on the program today. Please stay with us. Wake up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debate, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning,
For the latest issues,
always on point.
Watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m. Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.
The snake bite that took the life of a Nigerian singer who until her death was based in Abuja has now raised concerns as to how proactive we are as a government and as a people in terms of anti-venom measures. The Senate is now saying that there is need to stock our hospitals with anti-venom remedies as quickly as possible. Will this be a matter of just talk without action, as we've seen in most instances? I mean, Joma, you and I took out time essentially to talk about this on Monday.
Yes, we
about
did.
The young lady.
Yes, we did.
The Senate is now saying that we must take responsibility.
We should.
For how we respond to things like this. Not just the response, but the swiftness in how we respond. Plus, how that anti-venom should be something we take for granted. It shouldn't be luxury, because no matter where the argument sways or tilts now, there are people who strongly believe that if Ifunaya, blessed memory, had access as quickly as possible to anti-venom, we probably won't be here still talking about this issue days down the line.
Exactly, very true. And the little things we take for granted, only the little things. I mentioned snake bite, I mentioned scorpions, I mentioned a lot of things.
All of the creepy things.
All of the creepy things. And you'll be shocked that in our hospitals, it's just very few, and some might not even have it. We take prominence when it comes to anti-malaria, typhoid, hepatitis, pregnancy, all of that. But all the creepy things that are very important that we overlook that can cause harm, like just taking a life, and one life is important. We take for granted, and for me this is a step in the right direction. But there's a prominent pharmaceutical that has that anti-snake venom, which is important. But how many pharmaceuticals do they have that it shows that in the health aspect, or when it comes to health or well-being, people take a lot of things for granted. But for me, this is a step in the right direction. To save lives is very important. And there was a post that came out that because of the harmattan, the humid, this prominence of snakes and all of these creepy and creepy things being all out, so we have to take precautionary measures. Is very important.
Right. And experts are now warning that this idea of tying up a limb when there's a snake bite is outdated and dangerous. That's not the best practice. But you see, this is where awareness also becomes very critical, right?
Yes, it is.
It's one thing to tell people what not to do, but what should they do? And again, when you're in your clear head, as we are now, for example, is far easier to have the conversation. But it's not the same reality for somebody who has been bitten by a snake, especially in the case of this lady we're discussing now, whom we are told was practically home all by herself when all of this happened. And when I saw a picture of the snake, I asked myself, is this really the snake that bit this lady, or is this a snake from a totally different scene? And somebody said this was the lady's compound, and this is the snake that it was a cobra. I was wondering,
a cobra.
Do cobras come into a residential apartment? And exactly, I saw that in the picture as well.
I was shocked.
If the compound was interlocked, as we see in the picture, in the video, you're wondering how did that happen? Because there's also the belief that snakes do not, if you like, find it comfortable to move on
they're in the bush or the forest,
things like that. But maybe that is all now left to the realms of speculation. We can continue to debate all of that. But we must now ask ourselves, how much of lessons have we learned from this incident?
Very important.
How can we as a government, as a community, as families, as individuals, be able to now say, this is where we've been missing it the entire time, and this is where we should be heading going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. You have said it so well. You've brought the words out of my mouth. And it's just unfortunate that for me, it's the fact that we take it for granted so much. And that's why fumigation is very important. For those of us out there who leave our hopes on landlords, they're not living in that residence. You have to take charge on your own. Aside the antivenom, which is very important in all hospitals and pharmaceuticals, please, fumigation is key. When was the last time?
As often as possible.
As often as possible. If you ask someone, I think it should be like, we should go out and ask individuals, when was the last time you fumigated your compound or your home? When was the last time you took out time? When you travel for festivities, did you fumigate, or you just leave it like that? You come back, open the windows, and you just, it's very important. You need to take all of these things into cognizance. And these are the things that we overlook day in, day out. When it comes to rodents, creepy things, all of these things are detrimental to life. Like Lassa fever, for instance, we know that rodents actually cause that. And when you fumigate, it will help to reduce their presence. Their presence is very important. And for individuals who, there's so many things you need to do. Personal hygiene also comes into play here. So we have to be very careful. We have to take precautionary measures to avoid this sort of issue that has happened, that has led to death, which is unfortunate. Really, it was unfortunate. It would have been advantage. She would have been alive. It would have been snake. It would have been a different headline if the right thing was done. It's very important.
And it's also important, just to add to what Juma has said, that we cut grasses as often as we can.
Yes.
And then you also have to declutter and decongest. There are those of us who are prominently in the practice of keeping things we know that have need of. Right. We just keep them. We just tag them somewhere. And we say, I got this bowl from my grandmother. This other one was given to me by my mother-in-law. And you don't have need of them. There may be somebody who needs them. Give them.
Please.
If they have become totally useless, you trash them. Yes, there may be that emotional attachment of saying, because it was given to me by my dear grandfather, in my family we have this practice, we do not throw things like this away. But you have no idea how reptiles could take advantage, hide behind them, hide underneath them.
Exactly.
And you'll be shocked the next time you pick them. I mean, we have seen stories or seen videos how somebody just picked up a pair of boots that they have worn over time. And the next thing you know, from nowhere, snake comes out.
Exactly. And that's the thing for individuals who have this practice, or they say it's an addiction to hoard things, hoarders, that you can actually keep something from way back as 20 to 30, 50, before you were even born, and it was handed over to you by maybe a grandfather, great-grandfather, whatever. Please, if you're not and for individuals also, plates, coolers, all of these things, that's
empty gallons,
please,
drums.
Are you kidding me? These are things that if you're there are people, individuals out there who actually need these things, and once you give them out, there's always a blessing attached to it. Because if it has been in your closet for a year and you didn't pick it up to use, that means you have no use for it. And there are some clothing that have been in your wardrobe for like 3 years, 4 years, and you've not touched. What are you doing with them? Please give it to individuals who need them. You get better things. And of course, the blessings attached to it goes a long way than all of those things that you're keeping and hoarding, causing, menace in that particular. And goodness sakes, when there's so much clutter and hoarding of things, it doesn't make the whole place look nice. It makes it look dirty and uninhabitable and all of that. So please, let's try and do away with things that we have no use for. It's very important.
Well, so much said already. Now time to bring you a bit of motivation. And Ramsey, as always, in a good mood to bring us inspirational this morning.
Well, my name is Ramsey Enoch, and it's good to have you join us today on Heart to Heart Inspirationals. And let's get you inspired, because we value you. You are very important. You mean so much to this generation. Do you know why? Because if anything happens to you on this journey of destiny, it means something has gone wrong with a generation, because you are a potential destiny helper. But then, what step are you taking? All right? Where are you? What are you doing? My name is Ramsey Enoch Agbo. Small steps still move forward. We love big breakthrough. A lot of people want to be big men overnight. They just wake up overnight and they want to be big men, not knowing what it takes to be a big man, to be a big woman. Breakthroughs are things that we are supposed to enjoy, but then, does it just fall from heaven? No. One thing we need to understand is that there are things we need to do to really be successful in life. How much work are you putting into yourself? We need to know that life has so much for us. The truth is this: we love big breakthrough, yeah, that's true, but we underestimate small obedience. Small obedience. And that's the reason you see a lot of people make resolutions and they don't keep to it. You see a lot of people do their to-do list for the day and they are not keeping it. Discipline and obedience to small things. You know, little foxes that destroy the vine. You may think those things are small, they don't matter. But then it makes you accelerate. It makes you move forward in life. We celebrate overnight success, but ignore daily discipline. How many people are disciplined today? Even CEOs, they are not disciplined today. A lot of people are not disciplined today. Business owners are not disciplined today. A lot of people have eaten their capitals. Yes, a lot of people. I know of people who ate their capitals. Some even went into debt. These are people that were making millions. I know. I'm not talking abstract. These are people that I know. Where are they today? What happened? Discipline. I've even walked to someone before to say, hey, come on. Do you know what? I know it's your business. I know it's your company. I know you are in charge. But then, instead of just putting your hand into the business money and taking out of it every day, place yourself on salary. Be a salary earner. Let the business pay you. Oversee it. Let it pay you. You don't just wake up without discipline. Oh, you have a need. Bam. Accountant. Yes, sign this check. No. It's not done. Discipline is very important if you want to be successful in life, if you want to make progress in life. Discipline is very important, not just discipline alone. Obedience and discipline go hand in hand, all right? You need to be obedient, all right, and you need to be disciplined. Yet, I want to let you know that nothing great happens suddenly. It happens consistently. Consistency is key. Whatever you're doing. Okay, let me give you an instance. Why do you think anywhere you go to look for a job, whatever you want to do, people look for someone who have experience? Because the more consistent you are on a particular thing, the more professional you become. But a lot of people, because of the issue of diversification, multiple sources of income and all of that, these theories have made a lot of people not to concentrate on a particular thing, not to be consistent in doing one thing and become a professional in it. A lot of people are slaving today because they were not consistent in what they were doing. A lot of people are not employable today because of inconsistency, disobedience, and indiscipline. Three major issues: indiscipline, disobedience, and inconsistency. These are thieves of time. Progress, like they said, is not always loud. It's not loud. Sometimes it looks like getting up again. Sometimes it looks like staying committed, all right, when nobody is clapping. A lot of people. That's why, initially I talked about on Heart to Heart, before I've talked about social media. Everybody want to be clapped for these days. Everybody is going on social media to live a fake life because they want to be clapped for. Oh, of what profit is it? It's deception. You're deceiving yourself. I only pity people who copy this online so-called designed people who design themselves to be what they are not. People must not clap for you all the time. Don't wait for the clapping. Don't wait for people to clap for you. Sometimes when walking towards your successful days may not require people clapping for you, or sometimes growth feels boring because when it gets, people don't like work. That's the truth. A lot of people don't like work. So sometimes when you're walking, it looks boring. When you are striving to be successful in life, sometimes it looks boring because it's just like you're driving on the road and it's only you on that road. You're going, no car is coming from behind, no one is overtaking you. You're just going, only you. Sometimes it looks boring. But boring is where mastery is built. Do not despise small beginnings. Small steps compounds. Small habits accumulate, and of course, small disciplines create massive outcome. Just be consistent in it. Every expert you see today was once a beginner who refused to stop because so many things happen to stop them. When you're starting a business from the scratch, it is very difficult. If you are not consistent, disciplined, and obedient, you run away. Yes, of course. That period, that growing, that incubation period, if you're not careful, you run away. A lot of people have run away from businesses like that. Then when other people start doing it, enduring that boring moment, that lonely moment, then when they come out successful, they say, well, why did I even leave that business? Because you were not consistent, disciplined, and of course obedient to the rules of the game. Success have a rule. It has a rule. Yes, you need to abide by the rules of the game before you become successful. Breakthrough don't just happen overnight. That kind of breakthrough that you're looking for doesn't last. Yes, a dribbling tap can fill a bucket over time. Don't you know? Provided there is consistency, it's dripping. All right, let me give an instance. For instance, you get to the hospital and they give someone drip, all right? There is drip on a patient in the hospital. You see the way it drops. Pim, pim, pim. It will appear as if it's never going to get finished. But just give it a time. That drip will finish. Everything will finish into the patient's body. But it's dripping. It takes patience. All right? Not because the drops are big, but because they are consistent. It's dropping. Because of the consistency, whatever you're doing, please ensure to be consistent. If you really want to make it, if you really want to succeed, focus on the progress, not the perfection. Celebrate effort, not just outcomes. Show up when motivation is low. You might not see. Let me tell you something. A lot of people don't celebrate upcomings. That period where you are struggling to be successful, when you're struggling to grow, a lot of people just look at the ignore. Some will not even take you serious. And that's why you need to be careful the kind of relationship you keep. I pity for people who push aside people that were with them when they were in their incubation period, when they were trying to become successful in life, the people that encourage them. Somebody may not even give you all the money, but the encouragement coming is enough. Consistency turns into ordinary actions into extraordinary results. Yes, by the time you're consistent, it turns ordinary action into extraordinary results. All right, keep going. Small steps taken daily will carry you further than big intentions that was never acted upon. A lot of people have big dreams, but they never acted on it. Where are they today? They are nowhere to be found. Well, you need to dream big and you need to act on the big dream, no matter how small, on a daily basis. Be consistent, be obedient, and of course, what else? Be faithful to whatever it is you're doing. Many thanks. I'll come on your way again. My name is Ramsey Enoch. Bye-bye for now.
All right, you're welcome back. Hope you were well inspired by that segment, inspirational, tagged Heart to Heart with Ramsey Enoch Agbo. And at about this time is the newspaper review segment. And we'll start with the first paper, which is the Guardian newspaper. And below the nameplate on the Guardian, it says, "No retreat, no reforms," Tinubu tells World Bank, and that's on page 3 on The Guardian. And then, of course, still on page 3, it says U.S. military sends team as bandits kill over 25 in Castilla. And next on page 6, it says PDP crisis deepens as Wike-backed faction dissolves structures. Makinde warns against hijack. And below that, it says media stakeholders tax FG on information sovereignty, digital threats, and that's on page 5. And on page 6 on The Guardian, it says here, Senate delay stalls electoral reforms as group warns of risk to democracy. I'll take that again. Senate delay stalls electoral reforms as group warns of risk to democracy. And that's all on The Guardian newspaper. Go out and get yourself a copy and be well abreast with issues making round. And up next is Uyi be taking us through the Vanguard.
All right. Let's start with the headline above the name masts of the Vanguard newspaper. It says taxes fuel hike slow business growth in January. That's according to the Nigerian Economic Summit Group report, NESG reports. On page 19 is where you'll find those details. Adjacent the name mast, PDP, Makinde, Wike fight dirty. Two riders with the headline, no more, no more vagabonds in PDP. That's credited to Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde. You are a repentant vagabond, Wike fires back. Now, you know what it means when the headline says both gentlemen now fight dirty on page 5 of the Vanguard newspaper. You know, Juma, it's amazing how politics can be honeymoon experience at one point and later some sort of bitter leaf juice in your mouth. Maybe Wike and Makinde are in the best position to explain that to the Nigerians.
They are.
Because these are, I mean, they were governors together at the time.
Exactly.
They were members of the G5.
Yes,
You're wondering
they were.
at what point did they have to share Gary?
Gary. Oh, at one point it go sour.
Right.
It's just unfortunate, you know. Like I said, these are politicians. They know what they're doing. They'll just.
So you think this could be a script?
For me, I think it's
or
just.
a script's gone wrong.
A script's gone wrong. Well, at the same time, well, they will figure it out. We shouldn't bother our heads.
It's a matter of time, right?
It's a matter of time. You know how it is when it comes to this particular issues, when it comes to politicians, parties, and all of that encompassed. But at the same time, they will figure it out. It's not something to bite our nails on or be worried about. Some politicians will always figure it out. They're politicians. They know how this game, or will I say games, are being played. So we shouldn't bother ourselves or loyalists here, loyalists there, causing unnecessary issues in you know, in Nigeria as a whole. I think we're done with that. We have other pressing issues to look at.
Sure. Well, those are your headlines from the Vanguard. Jumai will walk us through headlines from This Day newspaper.
All right, we have This Day newspaper, and above the nameplate it says, at Nigeria's Energy Summit, Tinubu renews 3 million BPD oil production target by 2030. And we have two riders there. It says Lapobiri Echo site raising output, renewed investor confidence, gas expansion. And the next rider reads IPPG decries bureaucracy, multiple charges in oil industry. And to find more read on that, you have to open up to page 8 on This Day. And below the nameplate, it says insecurity. U.S. dispatches military forces as Nigeria amid renewed collaboration. And that read you will find on page 8. And the Star story reads, World Bank, Nigeria, new global reference for steady, credible reforms. And we have two riders there. It says Tinubu FG won't jettison economic reforms. Edun says reforms. Momentum puts Nigeria's 7% GDP target within reach. And basically that is all the major headlines on the newspaper this day. Go out and get yourself a copy and be well abreast with issues making rounds. And next we have the blueprint.
All right, so let's go there on the blueprint with the first one here. It's about the nameplate saying exercise arraigns ex-AGF Malami son on terrorism financing, firearms charges on page 7. Above the name mast, that is. And then 3 headlines immediately underneath the name mast. Kano Inferno, victims count losses, Yusuf pledges assistance. Quite sad. And then a bit of sports for you as well. NBF unveils Team Nigeria for Maiden African Boxing League. Details on page 32. The big one says, Yewada to critics. Tinubu's foreign trips yielded $50 billion FDI commitments. Well, if those trips all combined, spanning accumulation of 22 days, brought $50 billion foreign direct investments, well, it means it was worth it.
It was. All
right, 2 headlines, two riders with that headline for you. FG clears 28 new $18.2 billion oil field plans. Nigeria's petroleum story being rewritten, that's according to Lapobiri, the Minister of Petroleum Resources, Oil. And then on the left side of the paper, 1.6 million voters set for February 21. FCT area council polls, INEC seeks media support. Excuse me. A Senate moves to increase federal government revenue allocation, fails to pass electoral bill again. Wike-led PDP holds convention March 29 and 30, obviously having dismantled all the structures. NECO releases 2025 SSC external results. Nigerian fintechs call for clear crypto regulations. And lastly, on the foots of the front page, Tinubu to FEMA, develop database of field roads for proper budgeting. And that's the smart thing to do. We have to be innovative about this sort of thing. All thanks to the president for this sort of directive. All of those details are on page 10, but please, importantly, do well to read up details of those headlines from the Blueprint newspaper today as we move to the Punch newspaper.
All right, now the Punch newspaper, above the nameplate, it says, bandits kill 13, fresh Kwara Katsina attack. And that read you will find on page 43. Now, beside the nameplate, that's our dear President, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And on page 2, it says, genocide accusations, U.S. Congress panels hold new session on Nigeria today. And like I mentioned, it's on page 2. Now, the Star story on the Punch says, electricity subsidy, FG to deduct 3.6 trillion naira from Federation account. And the rider read, as FG begins sharing of power subsidy, burden with states, LG's 1.2 trillion naira to be deducted yearly. And on page 43 on the Punch, it says here, NPO to Tinubu, regulate foreign platforms or lose Nigerian media. And on page 2, it says here, convention showdown, PDP governors resist Wike bloc's move to dismantle committee. And basically that is all the major headlines on the Punch. Go out and get yourself a copy and be well abreast with issues making rounds. Next, we have the Daily Trust.
Okay, we now look at the big story first from the Daily Trust newspaper, the big headline that is. It says, hospital bill worse than cancer. Patients. Are we going to really compare that? But of course, Juma, we can't run away from the fact that a lot of pressure can come from hospital bills. We've heard of stories where a woman, for example, delivers a baby and then her husband absconds. The woman comes to the public, sometimes to the media, radio, television, what have you, these days, internet, to solicit for funding. Thank God these days, the culture of crowdfunding is becoming very popular, more acceptable across the world.
Yes, it is.
We now have GoFundMe and the likes and things like that. But it doesn't take away the fact that the pressure will always be there. I've seen quite a number of cases as a young boy growing up where a woman delivers a set of twin or triplets and the husband, out of pressure, out of the fear that he can't settle the hospital bills, let alone now fend for the new babies, runs away. And then the woman is left to fate in most of these cases. So when somebody in such a situation says hospital bill is worse than cancer, we probably can never relate.
We probably can never relate, and it's just very unfortunate. And of course, talking about cancer, of course, the theme this year, of course, today is United by Unique.
Right.
Women coming out to be well aware of cancer, breast cancer, ovarian cancer, all of that. It's a very deadly disease, and of course, that awareness is key. And cancer survivors actually understand that they are not alone in this, and cancer is deadly.
It is.
It's deadly. You don't want to know about the radiation and all of that, back and forth medicals, up and down checkups and all of that. It's just unfortunate. I think
coming from chemotherapy. Right?
Yes, chemotherapy, and no one can ever really relate, but individuals who have cancer know that they're not alone. They have family and friends, but it's just unfortunate that sometimes individuals who have this deadly disease, some persons tend to turn their backs, not because they want to, but because the burden of hospital bills, payments, being there, they cannot give that emotional, financial, physical support.
And it takes a lot of courage for you to look at patients in that state.
No,
it
does.
People you care about.
These are people you care about.
It breaks you naturally.
It does. It does. Knowing that they're actually fighting for their lives, knowing that sometimes, in most cases, it's not everyone that can survive that.
As sad as that may sound.
It's very sad. It's very painful. It is.
Right.
But it's just unfortunate that's why awareness is key. It's important that you detect on time and always go for checkups. Very important.
Right. And we must learn to love people as much as we can, because we're seeing those who have been snatched away by this scourge, by this very nasty phenomenon. And that's why year in, year out, emphasis is always on early detection. All right, you must be sensitive to your body. You must have to cultivate the culture of frequent checks. We must do that. We know, yes, the pressure of financially can be crazy and what have you, and we're still fighting to up the culture of hospital visits, all of those checks that we need to do from time to time. But it is what it is now. Where life is involved, we shouldn't spare costs. All right. Let's look at a couple of headlines from the same paper this morning, talking of the Daily Trust newspaper. Here at the bottom, it says, community celebrates release of abducted bandits leader. Why that celebration? Well, you can read up the intriguing details on page 10. All right. ICPC detains ex-NIMASA boss Jamo, that's on page 30. NECO, 9,016 candidates engage in malpractice. That's an entire league of malpractitioners, if you may say. On page 6 is where you can read up those details. Drivers missing as Boko Haram intercepts trucks in Borno. Did I hear you say Borno again? Well, that's on page 37. We will overcome this, distant time, we believe. Well, those are your headlines from the Daily Trust newspaper. Up next is the Daily Sun.
All right, now the Daily Sun newspaper, beside the nameplate of the Daily Sun, it says Nigeria will not reverse economic reforms, Tinubu tells World Bank. And that read you will find on page 28. Now below that it says $120 billion fuel import bill choking Africa, and that's from the federal government. And the writer says backs Dangote to capture 20% of market. Now the star story on the Daily Sun says vagabonds in PDP gone, says Makinde. And the writer says Wike camp dissolves Northwest Southwest ESCOs, and that read you will find on page 6 of the Daily Sun. Now below that it says 10.6 million Nigerians hooked on drugs, and that's from the NDLEA chairman, retired Brigadier General Buba Marwa. And the writer says customs arrests 8 suspects with hard drugs, others worth 3.319 billion naira, and that you will find on page 4 and 5. On page 25 it says tax reforms have spiked business costs, stalled Nigeria's January expansion. That's from NESG. And now to some very worrisome news on page 26. It says Lassa fever outbreak, Benue records 56 suspected cases. Now that is not a good thing to about this.
Disturbing.
Individuals understand that Lassa fever is out there. We should try as much as possible to keep our foods covered, environment clean.
It's been here for decades.
It has been here for decades, and these rodents are not going away anytime soon. So it's very important that that precautionary measure is done by individuals. It's not just for the government alone. It takes you and I. Now, on page 27, it says FCT workers suspend strike as labor Wike reach agreement, and that's on page 27. Okay, that's good news. And those are all the major headlines on the Daily Sun. Next, and basically, that is the
Nation newspaper.
Yes, the Nation is the next.
It has just one headline.
Yes, it does.
It says with the writer here, World Bank, Nigeria now global reference. And we saw in the papers previously looked at where the president says, look, we are not reversing or going back on reforms as we are currently pursuing. Well, read up those details on page 2 of the Nation newspaper today. Next is the Nigerian Tribune.
All right, now the Nigerian Tribune, and on page 4 it says guessing game continues as Senate fails to pass Electoral Act at third promise. And basically you will get that read on page 4. And on page 2 on the Nigerian Tribune it says Senate proposes new revenue formula to favor FG. That's the federal government. And below the nameplate said Naira gains against dollar closes at 1,702.91 per dollar, and that's on page 5. And below that on page 2 it says terrorism financing, FG arraigns Malami's son on 5-count charge. And the start story, which is on page 3, says PDP crisis, Makinde fires another shot. And the writer says, we won't allow anyone to hold PDP down, he declares. And it says, Abdurrahman-led camp fixes March 29th, 30th as new convention dates. And here it says, party's management staff, Workers Institute declare loyalty to Turaki-led NWC. And on page 6, it says, UBA Group announces Luknat Marsha as, okay, pardon me on that. And health on page 11 says 4 in 10 cancer cases preventable. And that's from the WHO, World Health Organization. And below the foot of the Nigerian Tribune, it says 54% of Nigerian minors buy alcohol themselves. And that's from NAFDAC, and that read is on page 16. And basically, those are all the major headlines on the Nigerian Tribune. Please go out and get yourself a copy and be well abreast with issues making round. And that brings us to the end of the newspaper review segment. Please, of whatever information that has been passed from the newspaper review segment is basically solely the headlines of the various newspapers. Global Television has no impute whatsoever when it comes to these major headlines. And up next on Global Morning is Social Buzz with Ogochukwu Momono. Stay tuned.
Up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debate, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning,
For the latest issues,
always on point.
Watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m. Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.
When social media speaks, we'll listen and we'll bring you the extra. It's your one-stop show for trends, and the tea everyone seeks. Join the conversation, share your thoughts, and get the extra dose of what's shaking the internet.
on issues making wave on social media to your doorstep.
Social Buzz Extra, where the trend meets the talk. Only on Global Television.
Good morning, Nigerians, and good morning, viewers all around the world. It's time to look at buzzing issues making rounds on social media. And today we'll be looking at Senate has ordered nationwide distribution of antivenoms in hospital. This comes in the wake of the Abuja-based singer Funaya Nwangene, who passed away after a snake bite. It is so unfortunate that we had to do this, after we lost a life, and a very young one at that, And how long, the question right now is, how long have our hospitals been there without antivenoms in it? And of course, if we are going to distribute to hospitals, what about, I'm sure this is not just to federal hospitals or state-owned hospitals. What about private hospitals? And also, are we also looking at pharmacies out there? Because most times when the first place of call is usually pharmacy. Before you start driving to the hospital or locating a hospital, you go to the nearest pharmacy. So are we also going to distribute to those pharmacies? Well, let's take comments from social media as regards this topic. And we are looking at the first comments from Grace Ajayi. And Grace says, the shining star had to sacrifice her life for antivenom to be made available in all hospitals. May the heavens be kind to her soul. All right, the second comment coming from Becca Media. And Becca says, may Nigeria never happen to us before our government start doing the right thing. Pray has a gentle soul rest in peace. Well, these are things I really do not like to say when I hear people say, may Nigeria, may Nigeria. Of course, there are good things that happen in Nigeria. This one is just an unfortunate incident. All right, the third comment is coming from Mutaz signature. And Mutaz says, beyond the availability of antivenoms, the healthcare system needs to be looked at, especially as regards poor response to emergency. How can the first hospital allow her go on her own to look for solution? An emergency response plan should have been activated to look for the nearest hospital or pharmacy location with the antivenom, and an ambulance should have carried her. That's how it works in countries that value lives. All right, thank you so much, everyone who contributed to this day's topic. Your comments are all valid. Of course, I'm not alone in the studio. I have with me Jumai Manson. Good morning, Jumai.
Good morning, Ogochukwu. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you. We're still on the matter, and
yes,
this one is an update. It just yesterday when the Senate President announced that, okay, antivenoms should be distributed to hospitals. And my concern is, do we really need to lose a life before we find solution? Why can't we just have the solutions there in the hospitals, in the places we need them before it happens? I feel like the government is not being proactive at this point, or our healthcare system is not taken seriously, honestly.
I think it's a mix of both. Healthcare, they have a major role to play when it comes to this issue. Really, antivenom, creepy things in general. You should have antivenoms or antidotes that will cure and help you to tell the individual's life will still be, the person will still be alive. But for me, it's better late than never. At least we're going to start it now so that we won't have another death in when it comes to hospitals and all of that due to snake bites or creepy things. For me, this is a step in the right direction, but it's just unfortunate that Funaya had to go for us to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Very unfortunate incident.
Also, I'm hoping that this declaration, should I call it a declaration, or this distribution, I beg your pardon, I hope it's not going to take a long time, because sometimes we get to see the government say something and it takes months and even years before it's been implemented, because we do not know who is the next victim. It could be anybody. Right now, we are both here talking about it. Although we are concerned, but then it's not as much as the family of this young lady who lost her life, to be very honest. It could be anyone. Yes, it happened in Abuja. We are in Abuja. What if the snakes are everywhere? Okay, so I'm just going to give you an instance. Something happened in same Lugbe about 2 weeks ago, just before this particular incident, where a snake swallowed a full goat. I don't know if you saw that video, but it was everywhere on social media. A full full goat, and that same Lugbe. And something came to my mind yesterday. My sister, we were just talking about this same Ifunanya story, and my sister said, what if that big snake was one that actually baited the other snakes? What if they're everywhere? And I stay in Lugbe. To be very honest, what if that snake has given birth to other snakes?
Which is true.
You can never be more careful. So
No,
please, how long do we need to wait? This is a question I'm throwing to the Senate. How long do we need to wait before all of this will be implemented? We want to see it happening. Because FMC came out and boldly dropped a statement out there to say, oh, she didn't die of just the snake bite, or because we do not have the venom. They claim they have the venom, and right now they are saying distribute venom, anti-venoms. They claim they had the anti-venoms, and right now, you know, they are saying distribute anti-venoms to hospitals. I really do not know which one to take side, but like you said, the good thing is that yes, they've said they should distribute the anti-venoms, and hopefully, I am really hoping that it doesn't take much time, and also no one falls victim of this same circumstance. Come on, we are in 2026. You shouldn't be hearing that snake bite killed someone.
Yes,
in 2026.
Really,
honestly.
well said, Ogo. But at the same time, because life is very important, every life matters. Individuals should understand. And coming from the Senate, I think they should take it upon themselves to send a monitoring team to all hospitals if really and truly they feel really bad or remorse from what has happened due to negligence, like a lackadaisical attitude of the health sector, quote and unquote, because major hospitals, they put in so much time when it comes to anti-malaria drugs, typhoid, hepatitis injections, all of that. No one looks at creepy things that could actually take a life at the snap of a finger. So it's very important that the monitoring committee should be set up in order for this particular, will I say, a statement should be brought to light, very importantly, so we won't lose any individual. Remember, every life matters. It doesn't matter how big or how small. Every life matters, and we should take this as a priority, which is key.
I like that you actually brought up the monitoring team thing. Supervision is key. When you give out an assignment, I keep saying it, always make sure that you send a team to supervise. And please, this supervision shouldn't just be only for federal and state hospitals. I think there should be also people supervising, or a team supervising private hospitals, to be very honest, because sometimes, just like one of the comments reads, that the first hospital she visited is actually a private hospital. They should have escorted her with an ambulance and make sure that she finds an antivenom before leaving her, not just allowing her go on her way. If we really say that lives, if that's the logo of hospital is saving lives, if we really said that that's our priority, saving lives, then we should make sure that everything is put in place to make sure that we save a life and don't just let them go like that.
Very true.
Thank you so much once again, Jumai Manson, for your contribution to today's topic. All right, we'll also bring you updates of other issues, and of course this particular one whenever it drops on internet or anywhere on the news. All right, this is where we close the curtains for Social Buzz here on Global Morning. I'll be leaving you in the hands of Uyi and Jumai as they usher us into the discussion session of Global Morning. So stay with us. Good morning once again, Nigeria and viewers around the world. I am Ogochukwu Mobno. Bye for now.
When social media speaks, we'll listen and we'll bring you the extra. It's your one-stop show for trends, and the tea everyone sips. Join the conversation, share your thoughts, and get the extra dose of what's shaking the internet.
And issues making wave on social media to your doorstep.
Social Buzz Extra, where the trend meets the talk, only on Global Television.
Wake up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debate, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning,
For the latest issues,
always on point.
Watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m. Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.
New Imo is on the rise. In the beating heart of Owerri, business never sleeps. From sunrise to sundown, the wheels keep turning. And behind the scenes, vision meets action. Governor Hope Uzodima's leadership has left the pages of manifestos to become real actions and achievements. Transformations that piece by piece feels like a miracle. But progress needs peace to thrive. And in Imo, we are not leaving it to chance. From land to sky to river deep, guardians are always watching, protecting dreams and opportunities. If you go to the quiet shore of Orashi Pa,
You're welcome back, and of course from Social Buzz, and at about this time is the first discuss of the day. Now, what comes to mind when you hear organic baby foods? Now, infant health benefits and regulatory concerns. Now, in our minds, organic baby foods reduce infant exposure to harmful chemicals and support healthy growth and immunity. However, in Nigeria, weak regulation and unclear certification raise concerns about product authenticity and safety. Stronger oversight, proper labeling, and consumer awareness are needed to protect infant health and build trust. Today on the program, I am being joined by Oluwakemi Jeje. She is the CEO, Hove Eats Africa, manufacturers of the highly demanded NutriPod toddler protein. Hi, Kemi, are you there? Good morning.
Good morning, Jumai. Hi.
Hi. And guess what? I am not doing it alone. I have my co-host, Uyagbomo Fuegbe, here with us. You're going to be running us through what organic baby foods is all about, basically.
Yeah. Thank you for having me this morning.
You are most welcome. Now, what is organic baby foods for someone out there who is wondering what's that all about? Really?
First of all, it's become a buzzword. I mean, everything is organic these days.
Yes, it is.
And I think it's important to make it simple, because the whole idea of this is that you want to get people empowered with the right information, so that in doing life every day and raising up your child, you're equipped with the right information to make the right choice. So it's on two levels. First of all, it's the ingredients that go into the food, that they're completely natural, and that's the easy part. You can look at the label of the food and see that. First of all, of course, you have to be reading labels. You can look at the label of the food and see that, this contains carrot, it contains banana, it contains, so and so. Now, the trickier part is where the carrot is being sourced from, how it's being grown, to make it, and how it's being processed to make it into that product in your hand. That's the trickier part. And that's the part where most consumers, they just at face level don't have control over. So to put it simply, the products are natural, and the inputs, the produce used for the product are grown as safely, as naturally as possible. Natural farming practices.
Now, Kemi, how is it different from regular baby foods that we know? How is it different?
Well, I think what you mean by that question is the famous commercially available food.
Yes, baby foods.
Used to all this while. We've in recent times had local brands growing, but before then, the international imported brands that we're all used to, that we probably grew up with. If you were not drinking Papa Home at your time, I had a lot of Papa Home at my time, which was what organic was. You have control over that end to end, but then that's also limited in what it provides. The difference is, first of all, for those products to be available at that scale, and because of the farming practices outside of Africa, I mean, they're way more advanced technologically. So a lot of assistants are being employed, to put it that way. So you have, a lot of pesticides in how the produce are grown to ensure, post-harvest loss reduction. You have a lot of additions, even into the product itself for preservation. So, for instance, a product shelf life is, a baby food product shelf life is 3 to 5 years. It takes a lot to keep a food product that shelf stable. So you cannot, it's difficult to claim that a product has a shelf life of 3 to 5 years and it's organic. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
So there's simple indicators to know. So the difference is, if it's killed, if it's largely available, if it's sold in multiple countries, it has to go through the logistics of global shipping. It's probably been stabilized. And stabilized is chemically stabilized. And then shelf life is also prolonged. That's also chemically done. So all of that take away from the ability to claim that this product is completely organic.
All right, Kemi, I'm going to jump in right in on this point. In 2021, we're told about 7 million babies are born in Nigeria on an annual basis. And virtually 5 years down the line, there's a pretty good chance that number has upped a little. Absolutely. But let's talk about the market size now, if you like, market share. How much of these markets, for want of better words, those of you in the space of organic baby foods, which we may want to call alternatives now, all right, actually, if you like, grabbing, because it's about market shares ultimately?
I love that question, and that's one of the things driving some of the work we've been doing in recent times. And the simple question is, we're barely scratching the surface. Now, there's been an increase in consumer awareness, where people are beginning to realize that it's not hype to have your baby on the imported food. It's most of the time not as smart, cost-wise, ingredients-wise, quality-wise. You want to, I usually would say that nobody has a baby in their house and then takes the baby to their neighbor to provide feeding for the baby. It's irresponsible. So if your babies are grown here, their food should be grown here, and there's an increase in that awareness. But you see, the market is massive, and local producers, like processors like myself and some other brands out there, are barely scratching the surface. It's a matter of capacity. I think awareness, the market is ready for us right now. And there are a few organizations that are beginning to help. The way forward, the way I say it, is that we have to optimize the capacities that we have to be able to compete so that we can co-compete with the global brands, and we're not competing. We don't even have what it takes individually to compete with the global brands. So we have to come together, and that's some of the work you see organizations like Global Alliance for Improved Nutrition doing. There is ICORE, and they're facilitating capacity, increasing capacity, access to funds, access to markets. So this is a potentially huge market. Have we begun to scratch the surface? No. So if you and the typical case is, you go into a supermarket, you can see an increase in local brands on the shelf of the baby food, but then you still see that it's just about 30% of what you have on the shelf. Before now, it's probably about 5%, but as of 2025, 2026, 2024, we're getting more entries into the market, and that's a good thing. That really is a good thing. What needs to happen also now is that there needs to be more collaboration, which is being facilitated by some of those organizations that I've mentioned amongst the producers. So, for instance, there are capacities that don't need to go and procure just because there is another company that has that capacity not fully utilized, and then I can put that resource into something else, and that way I'm more competitive, I'm more agile, and then together we're more competitive. So, but that's where the market is currently.
All right, Oluwakemi, farmers now, in order to preserve their foods for a longer period of time, they add a lot of harmful chemicals. We have seen where farmers add, I don't want to mention the names, some very deadly chemicals in foods that we ingest in as adults. Now, how can parents actually identify genuine organic foods in the market, knowing at the back of their minds that they do not have harmful chemicals, in order to keep them for a longer period of time?
Honestly, that's a difficult thing because you're not able to read that on the label. Nothing on the label tells you, anybody can put it on the label, organically grown produce, but nothing guarantees that. So I'd say that what your baby eats is something that is very important enough for you to invest time to research the brand you're buying into. So for instance, some of the local brands that produce toddler food that I know locally, within this network of processors, and we have access to responsible farmers. The organizations providing support for us also provide market linkage to responsible farmers. So they've had them streamlined. They work with them from seedling to harvesting to distribution. So we are locked into those networks. Now, it's again maybe our own responsibility as processors to also put that out more, but also the responsibility of the parents to go beyond. It's not going to be, that information is not available for you on the shelf in the supermarket. You've got to go a bit back, backward integrate into how is it being done, check their socials, what are they saying about how they're producing these things, do they ensure that their farmers are practicing responsible farming with minimal chemicals in them. That's the work that needs to be done.
All right, let's talk about regulatory guardrails, if you like. We're seeing, for example, what has happened across social media with products for women's skin and hair. We see how it has become an all-commerce affair. Everybody's selling all what's not online now, from Instagram to TikTok to Facebook and stuff like that. Are you concerned that from what we see today, there's a likelihood of the same scenario being replicated regarding these organic foods for babies?
Again, so we have SON, we have NAFDAC, and for you to be able to sell your products publicly, the baseline requirement is NAFDAC. NAFDAC's responsibility is to ensure that there's traceability from where you're sourcing your produce from, so that if anything, it's actually a check. If anything goes wrong, they can go back and then investigate. But then their key responsibility is, how are you producing? Is it neat? Is it safe? And then they take your product samples from time to time, check for toxins and all of that. Now, all of that has a way of reducing the incidents or the irresponsibility that can happen and then be a danger to the consumers. And I haven't worked in this space for about 6 years now. We've worked quite well. At the onset, we also had the mindset the average Nigerian has that, you just have to, maybe lobby and all of that. But I think it's fair to say that NAFDAC, for instance, is doing a good job in not just, being a regulatory body, but providing support to the organizations in my industry. So I speak for my industry. I don't know how, maybe also because this is food, and maybe because it's also baby food, and maybe because they're also in collaborations with organizations like UNICEF locally in Nigeria here. UNICEF provides support, and works closely with them and works closely with us. So there's a full circle that is providing not just statutory, like policing, like, I'm catching you, but support, like, okay, you could do it this way. You could, we can have our scientists, our formulators work with you. You can come in to us, and then actually just work with you through the process to ensure that your products are safe for consumption. So, that's been my experience in my industry. So, and I see what's going on outside in other industries. I don't know what frameworks they have in those industries, but in this industry, I think it's fair to say that they're doing a good job. Now, there are other regulatory bodies that are supposed to also be providing support. I haven't worked as closely with them as I have with NAFDAC. But with NAFDAC, I'd say that they're doing a fairly good job.
All right, Oluwakemi, on a lighter note now, let's talk about myths, misconceptions, and of course misinformation when it comes to organic baby foods. What are the challenges that you face in this business when it comes to, individuals wide arms open to receiving them when it comes to babies and of course parents also?
So like I said, the average Nigerian mom perhaps the abundant availability of information on the internet. Of course, that comes with the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yes, it does.
But the average Nigerian mom is aware. The average Nigerian mom is aware that they're beginning to be aware that there is a chance that the local produce are actually healthier. Lesser shelf life, lesser need for preservation. You can see your ingredients, they're the local produce. And you see, before now, because we didn't have a lot of data available on our produce, for instance, there was a time that there was such an hype about quinoa and being a source of protein, and there was such an hype about strawberry, but we always have the equivalent of these produces locally. And those ones are good, they're just as good. But at some point, we didn't have that data, but all that data is out now. You know that we don't need quinoa necessarily because we have fonio, is as good. We don't need strawberry necessarily because we have our balumo, and so we have equivalents that are just as good and maybe better because they are meant for us. We are natives of this ground, and this is what the ground is producing for us. So the awareness has gone up in the last 4 years. And most of our clients, for instance, when we do our surveys, and we do that from time to time, are not even, they are the elites. Do you understand what I mean? They're the elite, they're the enlightened people. So, and it's not for, it's cheaper. There is that. I mean, we have a lot of demands in peri-urban areas where the mothers will go for the Nigerian products automatically. They don't even need information about whether it's better or not. It's cheaper and it's food. So we have a lot of demand in those areas as a result of that. But we have a lot of demand in the urban areas as well. Now, because these people are enlightened and they know that now it's better to have the organic products that are locally produced, because lesser need, like I said, not to overflow it, but lesser need for preservative, lesser need for stabilization, and they are not even improved in terms of flavor, because once the flavor starts to taste banana and it's powdered, you don't have banana in there. You rarely, there are cases where the technology required to powder banana so that it's complete powder is quite expensive. So most of the time you have banana taste in a baby food and it's powder, it's flavor. So mothers know that now. So if a mother will choose a tumbler formula that is protein formula and then add their own banana to it at home just to stay organic, it's safer. So they will add their own flavors to it at home. Most mothers that are consumers of local food produce know that now.
I'd like us to talk about costs, friendliness. Naturally, we know that organic items or products are often significantly more expensive than their, processed alternatives. Let's talk about the average Nigerian mother or family, for example. We know, yes, the health of a baby, the nutrition of a baby is essential, is vital. We can't negotiate that. But how relatively, at least friendly, would you say this is for the average Nigerian family?
Well, there are three alternatives in my experience. You're either producing your baby's food locally, which was what we grew up with, the akamu, the basic akamu. You can now mix different kinds of grains, which is good at some level. Maybe not fortified or good. And then the locally processed toddler food like what we do, and the imported ones. So, these are the three alternatives that you have. Along the range of the imported ones, even the cheapest of the imported ones are most of the time more expensive than the ones that we produce here locally. So there really is no cost advantage to whether it's inorganic or organic. If it's brought in, the value of our naira to dollar already tips it on the side that it's more expensive.
All right.
The fact that our produces are here, they're gotten here, everything is naira from end to end, makes them more affordable. So
all right. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right. Thank you so much, Oluwakemi Jeje. She is the CEO, Whole Eat Africa, manufacturers of highly demanded NutriPod toddler protein. Thank you so much for being a part of our first discuss of the day. Thank you. Thank you so much for your wheels of experience. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. It's a wrap. Let's quickly go on a very quick break, and Global Morning continues shortly. Stay tuned.
Wake up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debate, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning,
For the latest issues,
always on point.
Watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m. Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.
Just like we mentioned earlier, it's World Cancer Day, and across the globe, the conversation is around not just cancer, but how this scourge damages the human life, how it hurts families and leaves communities almost totally devastated. But the good news now is the World Health Organization is saying that 4 out of 10 cancer cases can be prevented. However, there is also the challenge of what exactly do you have to do to ensure prevention. First, like we also mentioned earlier, is constant checks, all right? You've got to know your body, you've got to be able to do that screening every now and then. And I think the world has done that very well with breast cancer, reminding women across the globe that there is need to check as often as possible. You feel a lump, don't take anything for granted, don't leave anything to chance, don't assume, don't speculate, don't speak with those who are not experts in that field. Talk to your physician about what exactly might be the case. And incidentally, Jumai anchors a health program, even though she's not an oncologist yet.
Yes, that is true. That is true. But of course, awareness, they say, is key for you to detect and be sure that you are perfectly sound. But this, for me, it's like the theme for this year's World Cancer Day is all about united by unique. It shows that women are united in their own unique ways, and knowing that cancer is real, it's deadly, and it's out there. So we have to continue to show awareness and speak about it, because it's very important. Most individuals have died negligently when it comes to this particular scourge, which is cancer. And please, it's not a death sentence. Like we read, 3% of cancer cases are curable. It just shows that you have to have early detection first, which is very, very important. And at the same time, the stigmatization attached to it is the first sign that actually kills. So it's very important that individuals understand that it's a time to show love, care for that person who is with that sort of disease, can actually fight to beat cancer. Individuals have beat cancer. I have a very good friend of mine who has actually beat cancer, and I'm so proud of her, support systems and all of that. But at the same time, this awareness is very vital, is very important. Yes, it is.
And it's interesting. This has been consistent over the years. I mean, growing up, I've always heard is that tobacco is a leading preventable cause of cancer, and it represents 15% of all new cases. So when I was growing up, every time cigarettes was being advertised, we hear smokers are liable to die young, smokers are liable to die early, and things like that. But people still smoke across the world today. There are people who have been smoking for decades, and yet the World Health Organization and health experts across the globe are saying to us that, look, this is number one, not two, number one leading preventable cause of cancer, which means that there's an underlying issue that has to be addressed. And today, young people are being pleaded with to say, please, do something meaningful with your life, but be sure as much as you can, you avoid the use of tobacco.
Yeah, it's very important. But you know how it is.
The numbers keep rising.
The numbers keep rising. There's so much you can do in that area, and it's just unfortunate that people take these things for granted. Some will tell you, they'll actually give excuses why they should take in tobacco and all. They will practically tell you, and you begin to, okay, maybe it's true, but it's not at the same time. Some take it overboard. Some, I'm not here to judge anyone, but for as much as you understand the detriment of what this can cause, remember that health is key and health is wealth. It's very important. You can have all the wealth in the world, and if you're not healthy, how are you going to spend it? So that should be a kicker at the back of our minds and our heads, to understand that there are preventable measures in which you can actually be free from all of these deadly diseases. Is very important. But some is hereditary, because their mothers or mother's mother, great-grandmother had it, and it's in the line chain. And that is why, if there is a pattern like that in families, regular checkups are very important. For breast cancer, there's a particular home detection you can do all by yourself. So, these are things
within the comfort of your home.
Within the comfort of your space, your home. Yes, it's very important that people take these seriously. Ovarian cancer, for instance, women have to, that's why a gynecologist is very important. We need regular checkups and all of that. And we take these things for granted. We say, oh my goodness, health is really expensive in this country. And truly, it is expensive.
It is expensive everywhere in the world.
Everywhere in the world. And that is why people tend to neglect their health. And they tell you, oh no, that's not for me. It is well. But sometimes, please, wisdom is profitable to direct you. You have to be wise in order to, so you won't have, because the amount, someone says the amount, the headline we read this morning, the amount hospitals bill for cancer treatment is much more than cancer itself. So it's just unfortunate. You can imagine the toll in which and the weight it takes on your finances. So it's better when you detect early. You won't have to go through that whole process of chemotherapy, which is it's a very long process, and and it takes a toll on someone. The hormones, everything just changes, and well, I think people should do better when it comes to their health. And of course, it's cancer. Today's World Cancer Day, and at the same time, the awareness is key. It's very important that cancer is out there, it's deadly, and it's something that can be preventable once you detect early, and it's very important that you...
Early detection.
Early detection is key.
It's interesting, Juma, how that cancer essentially is said to be higher in men than women.
Prostrate.
Which, yes, exactly. So gone are those days where every time we said cancer or used the term cancer in a sentence, we always turn attention to women. No, it's higher in men. We must look at that. And I can't forget how someone who's very dear to me in 2012 had lost an 11-month-old son to blood cancer, the one called leukemia. All right. I still sit here virtually 14 years down the line, and I remember clearly how I sat in that compound, and I couldn't say a word because I had been devastated by the news itself before I got to the house. So on getting there, I didn't know who to condole with, the mother of the baby or the father who is a very dear friend of mine and things like that. So you can imagine what this does to families. And you also mentioned the cost elements in it. I mean, chemo is a process that you don't pray for, you don't wish on anyone.
No, you don't.
That's the process itself. And then you talk about the cost of it. And then there are times they tell you, well, because of the stage of the cancer, it's not something that can be handled in Nigeria. You have to take it offshore. So you hear people going to Dubai, going to Egypt, going to the US, going to Europe and everywhere else. And sometimes it still ends in such a way that having spent all of this money, the person dies.
And not only that, sometimes body parts must be taken out. In order must be taken out for the individual to actually survive. So it's just important that early detection is key. For as little as a lump on the breast, please go and check it out. Please, it's very important for women. And of course, it's on both genders. So it's very important that early detection is important, and you take your health as most paramount. Very important.
Of course, health, they say is wealth, but these days we say not just health, but good health.
Good health
is wealth, and we have a responsibility for ensuring that we are not just in good health, but our health flourishes. All right, that's our wish for everyone watching this morning. Let's take a break. When we return, we'll turn our attention to some practices within the auctioning process in Nigeria, which stakeholders are now saying are not ethical. All of that and more coming shortly. Stay with us. Wake up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debate, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning,
for the latest issues,
always on point.
Watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m. Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.
Wake up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debate, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning,
for the latest issues,
always on point.
Watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m. Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.
Conversation, everyone. We're joined now by Musa Kura Abubakar. Is the president of the Nigeria Association of Auctioneers. Thank you for joining us this morning.
The pleasure is mine.
Right,
Good morning.
great.
You're welcome on the program.
All right. Hopefully, by the time we're done with this conversation, Juma and I will become licensed auctioneers. But before that happens, I want you to enlighten our viewers as to what it means to say an auction process has started. We understand, for example, Customs, for instance, has now upgraded to the e-auction platform. Talk to us about all of these, because Nigerians don't seem to be very much abreast about the process.
Okay, so where do you want us to start from? You want us to start from the process?
What exactly
is auctioning?
What does it mean when you say you are auctioning?
Okay. A very good morning to our viewers. It's my pleasure to be here with you today, and by the will of God, we are going to have a successful interview. And if you want the definition of auction,
right,
that means in our own context in Nigeria here, we deal with both federal, state, local governments, in some cases embassies,
right,
and some private organizations. If they have anything to dispose or to sell or to auction, we are the custodians of auction that they invite to go and sell on their behalf. And our job is backed by the law.
Right.
It's backed by BPP Act and by POCA Act. POCA Act was recently, just about 4 years ago, that was in 2022. It was passed by the National Assembly and it was assented to by the late President Muhammadu Buhari.
Right.
So it becomes a law. So that BPP is the regulatory agency that deal with procurement.
That's the Bureau for Public Procurement.
Deal with procurement, auction, and contracts and any other thing regarding auction. So they are the regulatory body, the BPP, Bureau for Public Procurement.
Right.
Now, the process that you have to follow to become an auctioneer, which is very important for the public to know. If you aspire to be an auctioneer, first you have to go and obtain a license. It depends on the state by state and the federal government. In some states, it all depends.
Right.
Some ministries, some states, you obtain it from Inland Revenue, some in Ministry of Information. It all depends on the state. But in FCT here, if you want to get an auction license, you either go to FCDA or you go to any of the area councils. They issue auctioneer's license. But before you do that, you need to have a company. Either an enterprise or a limited liability company. That is the first step you have to take.
Before anything else?
Before anything else. When you get a company, you register a company with CAC, then you now go to either, as in my own case and many other people,
right.
You go to municipal area council. It's there you go and they have a department, you go and they will ask for your certificate of incorporation. Then they will open a file for you. They now issue you an auctioneer's license. When you get that, you will now approach us.
That's the association.
The association. When you approach us, we now come and interview you and we'll tell you now, okay, if you know any seasoned auctioneer, a senior auctioneer, or if you don't know any, we introduce you to somebody that can tutor you on what auction is all about.
So mentoring is required?
Mentoring is required.
Right.
So if you know somebody who will tell you to go, you tell us who that person is. If he's within us and he's an experienced person that we know he can mentor you, we can ask you to go and meet him. If you don't have, we now introduce you to somebody that we know can give you a good mentorship.
Right.
We introduce you, you go there. It depends on how you arrange with him. If he can take you for 1 month, for you to know the nitty-gritty of auction, 6 months, sometimes 1 year. It depends on how you arrange. Then, after you finished your training, you come back to us. He will come and guarantee you. We'll now open a file for you and we give you our certificate. You now become a full-fledged auctioneer. That is how it is done. To become an auctioneer, this is the process.
Okay. But I'll tell you the reason I ask you that, because I know Juma has a lot of questions to also advance to you. Yeah. I'm asking that because auctioning in recent years now appears to be all commerce affair. Of course, we have seen scammers online who want to sell a car that is worth 50 million for 650,000 naira and things like that. I mean, some of us have never heard about your association until a few years ago, for example. Yeah. How is it that the process, I mean, the entire space, the auctioning space, has become so polarized that not so much of order has been seen in it?
Yeah, of course, we are dealing with Nigeria here. Anything goes. Anything goes. Because this online auction, or whatever you call it, is a scam.
So there's no such thing?
You can check both BPP Act and you can check the Poker Act. I can't remember I see anything called online auction. I'm not aware of it. And I would like to tell you something. And you and Juma, right?
Yes.
All of us are Nigerians. We know what can happen in this country. You understand, people always want to take advantage of anything. So what I am saying, I'm sorry to say it, but it's a fact. Anything you say in this country is synonymous with fraud. And the complaint what you are talking about now, about going online and you see a car worth 50 million, they are calling people to come and buy it for 650,000. The car is not even there. You can have AI now, you can have a lot of ways that you can put in things online and say it's for sale, and at the end of it, they scam you. They take your money and you don't even know whom you are dealing with in the first place. So, if I don't want to apportion blame to anybody, because, but I don't think I would be wrong if I say the regulatory agencies are lacking in their job.
So they are not as effective as they ought to be?
They are not as effective as they ought to be. That is the fact. Because if the regulatory agency are doing their job, all this nonsense will not be happening.
Does that include the BPP?
Do we have any other regulatory agency that is in charge of auctioning process apart from BPP? It's the BPP. And it's not only happening online. You have a lot of fake auctioneers out there. And the rules are there. And people are not following the rules. Let me give you an example. If a ministry now, or any government organization want to auction, there's a process.
Right.
And is protected by law. Right? The ministry have to advertise, inviting auctioneers. Before they do that, they need to have the list of whatever they want to auction. When they have the list of what they want to auction, they now invite, in some cases, in most cases, they invite the Federal Ministry of Works, because they have a department that does valuation.
Right.
So they invite them to come and do the valuation. They value all the properties. After valuation, they will give them a report on all the properties that they valued for them on their behalf. The next step is for them to now do an advert inviting auctioneers to submit their application for appointment.
So is that the bidding process?
We have not gone to the bidding process first. I'm telling you about the procedures right now.
So applications first?
Application first. And it is advert. They say they should advertise in 1 or 2 daily national newspaper or TV stations.
Right.
To advertise, inviting auctioneers to come and submit their applications for appointment as auctioneers to auction on their behalf. That is number one. They will give a deadline. In some cases, 1 week, in some cases, 2 weeks. Duration for every auctioneer that is interested to submit his profile for consideration. When they close, if the deadline has passed and they close, they will now pick everything, all the applications, all the profiles. They will now send it to BPP. It is BPP that will verify. They will verify every document that every auctioneer has submitted. In the case of BPP, there are some documents that you need to assemble as your profile. You need the auctioneer's license. You need your own
CAC license.
No, the CAC is not even there. The auctioneer's license, the association certificate, PENCOM, ITF, NSITF, all those documents has to be there. And then experience.
As part of your profile?
As part of your profile. And then experience. Where did you work before? Which organization did you sell for before? That will assist your own profile.
Right.
After they cross-check everything, they will now recommend to whichever organization, either ministry or any other organization, that so this company and this company and this company and this company are qualified for consideration to auction on your behalf. So they will now take back the report back to the organization. Then there will now be second advert. After assuming they needed about, let's say, 5 auctioneers to auction, and they have about 20 or 30 or 50 auctioneers that are qualified. So they will now use their discretion. They will look at everybody's profile. Mostly the advantage you get is the number of years you have spent and the number of organizations that you have auctioned for before. So your experience matters.
Right.
So they will now choose among those 50, they will select maybe 5. Because that is what they need. Then they will do the second advert. The second advert will now say, okay, we Ministry of so have appointed so company, and so company to auction on our behalf in Lagos on the 25th of January at so place in Lagos. So all interested public should attend there at so time, so that they will participate in the auctioning process. So that is when the bidding now take place. So when the advert goes out, if assuming the auction is taking place in Lagos, some people can come from as far as Maiduguri, Borno State, some people all over the nation
to be part of it.
To be part of it. You converge there and will display whatever is going to be sold. In some cases, you go and see it yourself. When you gather in the same place where the properties are. If it is vehicles, the vehicles will be there for everybody to see. Do you understand? Then we will now announce that the bidding process is going to start right now. Every interested person is free to bid. So we say this laptop is number one. So let's start with this laptop. We, the auctioneers, excuse me, are the ones that know the reserve price.
Okay. It's kept secret.
That's secret. It's our secret between us and the owners of the property.
Right.
So you, the bidders, don't know what the reserve price is. Okay? So if it is this laptop now, assuming the reserve price is, let's say, 10,000. I'll now say, okay, this is what we want to bid for now. We start with 1,000 naira. The bidding can start with as low as 1,000 naira. But the reserve price is 10,000 naira. You cannot ring bell if you don't attain the reserve price.
Not even at 9,900 naira.
9,990 naira you will not sell.
It has to be 10,000.
It has to be 10,000 or above. If it is 1 naira above 10,000. If there is no more bidders or no one has bidded above that price, you ring the bell for the person. Now, after that, you take the details of the person, the winner. Then you now take the details of the second bidder. And then you now take the details of the third bidder. You give the first bidder maybe 24 hours. Within which to come and pay.
Right. And pick up the item.
And when you pay, you get clearance, we issue you, and usually we do the payment through RRR. We have to raise an RRR for you to go to the bank and pay. No money exchange hands between
individuals.
Individuals, no. If you win, maybe it's 11,000 naira, we raise an RRR for 11,000 naira for you to go and pay to the organization's account. And you bring evidence to us, the receipt of payment.
Yeah, and then you verify the payment.
Then we verify, then we issue you a receipt and clearance to move whatever you buy. If you don't come within 24 hours, we will now get the second bidder to come forward. But mark you, both the first, the second, and the third bidder must have crossed the reserve price. Do you understand?
As a baseline, they must have crossed
the baseline. They must have crossed the baseline.
Right.
You understand? If they don't, then we have to go back to the drawing board again.
And repeat
to start the process all over again. Because we could not get, we will now go back and sit down with the organization and say the value of this thing is high. We couldn't get a buyer. So you have to call back the valuers, or you call another valuer to come and revalue the item. Then we go back to the field again and try to sell it. That is how it is done. Clean and clear.
Okay, I think Juma has a question in this regard.
Okay, with all of this that you have said, it sounds so easy, it's smooth sail. But what are the challenges, though, to ensure there is transparency, accountability when it comes to auctioning a particular property and the auctioneers itself?
This is exactly what I have explained everything to you.
There are no challenges.
No, of course.
That's what I said.
There are challenges because in some cases, somebody will come and bid and he doesn't have money to pay. He will win. You ask him to come and pay.
Right.
You not see him again. It's a challenge. Do you understand? and you have fake bidders. They are troublemakers. They are just there to cause trouble.
What do they expect to gain from that?
Well, it's
any economic advantage in that regard.
Exactly.
It's our own way of doing things in this country. We all know that. There are spoilers.
Right.
They come there just to cause problem.
Commotion.
That's it, to cause commotion. And usually, because of experience, we know this kind of people. Because if you have 100 people now gathered in a place, and I am the one in charge,
right,
I know who a serious bidder is.
From your own experience?
From my own experience.
Is there any background check?
On the bidders?
On the bidders?
No.
Okay.
There's no background check.
Okay.
It's a free thing.
Right.
You can come in.
You come randomly?
Randomly, everybody can come. Because they say it's public, it's a public auction. So once you are a Nigerian, you are qualified to come and auction. Remember, there is no background check. But based on experience, I can perform my own background check on my own. By mere looking at you, I know if you are a serious person or not. So because I know if this thing is worth maybe 15,000 and somebody is coming to price it 100,000, I will not allow it. Because at the end, I know he will not come back. So the moment I attend where I want to go, if I look at a serious person, I will not even give you the opportunity to hike the distance. I will ring the bell. And once I ring the bell, that's the end of the game. Whatever complaint you do is up to you. I don't care. Because first, I've gotten what I want. I've crossed the line. That is the base, the mark. I cancelled below, but I have gotten above, and maybe the reserve price is 15,000. I am able to get at least 25,000 for the organization. If I ring bell, I didn't offend anybody. Nobody will question me.
Because you have complied with the rules.
I have complied, and I have gained more money for the organization, more than they expect.
But I want to ask a question though, like for someone out there who is interested in being an auctioneer, like standing in that gap, because I'm learning a lot now.
Yeah.
So when an organization gives me a mark of 10,000 naira and I decide and it's being auctioned for 25,000, what happens to the 15,000 naira? Does it come to me? Or
No, it goes to them. It's their property.
Then how do you get...
What is between you and whoever gives you the job to do is your commission. At the end of the day, if you sell it for maybe the reserve price is 15,000 and you are able to sell it for 20, 25,000, maybe 30,000 naira, there is a set term commission. Maybe they will say it depends on organization to organization.
Okay.
Some organization can offer you 10%. Some
of whatever is realized.
Whatever is realized.
Even when I went above the benchmark.
Of course.
Okay.
But the fact is, in some cases where you have properties that are worth even above $1 billion, some they will say 0.1%. Some they will say 1%, some they will say 2%, because of the value
and the volume yes, of the price.
Okay. You understand what I mean?
Right.
Because let's say I'm selling something that is worth $1 billion naira. 1% of $1 billion is 10 million.
Right.
Right? It's 10 million.
And that's reasonable.
And
of course it is. It is reasonable. Let's be fair. You understand? So in some organizations, when they give you appointment letter, they stipulate everything out.
Right.
That commission for so item. Let's say commission for an item between 1,000 to 100,000 naira is 10%. Commission for anything above 200,000 naira is 8%. Commission for anything above 100 million is maybe 10 or 3%. It all depends.
Right. Clearly stated.
clearly stated.
Okay.
So what you expect is you as a professional, it is to your own advantage to make more money for them.
Wow.
Because you also make money for yourself.
It's a win-win.
It's
a win-win situation.
Yes, it is.
You understand? But it is your own job. As I said, most people that are not experienced, they find themselves in trouble. Because you think you are making more money. You don't know that you are dealing with fraudsters. They don't even have they can't afford the money. And in some cases, you find out that some people will go there, they don't even have penny. Maybe they even borrow money to transport themselves to the venue of the whole thing.
Right.
But they will go there and they will be lucky to win. And when they win, they will get somebody that will pay. They will resell there, make their profit. Then they will take the money, go and pay the RRR, bring the receipt for you, then they hand it over to...
That's more like round tripping.
Round tripping.
All right, I want us to talk about the politics of this. I know that will be very interesting. This has to do with your association. We understand there have been factions, even though you and those on your side will say nothing like faction in your association. But then we also know, for example, there has been litigation up to Supreme Court, for instance. Help our viewers understand that, because if auctioneers become politicians, that sounds dangerous.
I was going to say that.
Well, anything that has to do with election is politics.
Right.
Right? Anything that has to do with election is politics. And in fairness to our organization, I think factionalization or faction in an association or union is not new. It's not new. So, we have a faction, but we have, as you said, there was a case that has gone up to Supreme Court, and there is a case that was done by National Industrial Court.
Right.
But when you look at the two cases, they are distinctly different. The case that went to the Supreme Court is about the powers of the trustees of our association. Whether the trustees have powers to appoint a caretaker committee for the association if there is problem. There was an election, I think in 2016 or thereabout, or 2017, and there was disagreement, as usual, that some people complained that the election was rigged, and they wrote a petition to the trustees, and the trustees invited both parties to Lagos for a meeting to resolve the issue. We were in Lagos, the other faction refused to go. They said they don't have business with the trustees. And the trustees being the custodians or the owners of the association.
Right.
So I just called them. We invited you people to Lagos. The other people are here and we don't see you here. They said they are not coming. I said, okay, fine. In that case, we'll have to take a fair decision. We have annulled the election and we are appointing a caretaker committee. They came from Lagos to appoint a caretaker committee.
Here in Abuja?
Here in Abuja, so that another election will be conducted. When they came, the other party decided to use police. Unfortunately, they changed the venue of the inauguration of the caretaker committee, and it took place, and it was published. They now went to court. They went to FCT High Court and laid their complaint there. They filed a suit there saying that the trustees, based on our constitution, the trustees don't have power to annul election and they don't have powers to appoint caretaker committee. And the court agrees with them. So they gave judgment on their behalf. So we appealed. We went to the Court of Appeal. Again, they won us there. the Court of Appeal concurred what the lower court did. They said yes. The trustees don't have power, based on our own constitution, the trustees don't have powers
to appoint a caretaker committee. So they won twice?
They won twice. Then we went to Supreme Court. When we went to Supreme Court, our lawyer was Professor Akinshe George, his son. We went to Supreme Court. But while that is going on, we now realize that their tenure has expired. So since their tenure has expired, and they are still
on what grounds?
They were elected in 2013 in Benue. 2013 4-year tenure. If you look at 2013 to 2017,
right,
will be 4 years, and it's 2 terms. But they are still parading themselves as still the executive till 2021. So we now take the case to industrial court, which is the court of competence jurisdiction
right,
to listen to the matter. So we took the case there. We said the court should look at their tenure. They were elected first in 2013 to 2017. They are re-elected again 2017 to 2021. So their tenure has expired. They can't be in office perpetually. And the court looked at our complaint and they said, yes, it's true. They have dissolved them. And they are giving us between the time of the judgment to 31st October 2023 to go and organize an AGM and election.
Right.
We proposed Ibadan. So we went to Ibadan. We held our AGM and election on the 20th of October 2023. Right? And the court, in their judgment, the court has barred them from parading themselves as officials. They have been dissolved
as an executive.
Election and as executive. An election has been held based by the court judgment, by the order of the court. An AGM was conducted and election was conducted in Ibadan on the 28th of October 2023. So if you count from 2023 October, if you count 4 years, when is 4 years going to be?
That should be October again, 2027.
2027. So, but these people are still flagrantly. They got, when we got the judgment of the National Industrial Court, because it's a different set of lawyers, we filed the case in Bauchi. You understand? So when we got the judgment, I got the copy of the judgment, I took it to Professor Akinshe George. I said, we got the judgment from Industrial Court that dissolved this issue. So how about the case in the Supreme Court? He said it has become an academic exercise. So he asked his boss to go and withdraw our papers. Yeah. This judgment has superseded. Because that other one is talking about the powers of trustee. This one is talking about tenure.
So events have overtaken the Supreme Court.
This one has taken, so the Supreme Court matter has become an academic exercise.
So we have to withdraw.
You don't have to waste our time. He sent his boss to go and withdraw the documents from there. So, but these people, I don't think they know the powers of the court. Because if you don't know something, as a layman, I'm not a lawyer.
Right.
As a layman now, if I have any issue that has to be with interpretation of a law, I'll have to get a lawyer to interpret for me.
Very true.
So what we said, okay, you are still carrying this ruling of the Supreme Court that has to do with powers of trustees. When the Supreme Court says, yes, what the lower court and the Court of Appeal has done is right, and we don't contest about that, right? So the Supreme Court don't have to give another judgment, is to give a ruling since we have withdrawn our documents.
Right.
You understand? So they gave a ruling that the judgment of the Court of Appeal was right. so be it. Do you understand? Now, commotion now breaks out between them. Between them.
Yes, the other faction.
The other faction.
Whose tenure had elapsed.
Has elapsed, and they have been dissolved. We had our own election and AGM in Ibadan, October. They arranged their own to do it in Osun, November.
The very next month.
The very next month. When they got to Osun, it was blow after blow from the beginning till the end of the meeting. The
So
meeting
it ended in
in-house fighting between them.
Fighting, right.
Initially, they thought we were the ones that sent talks there to go and cause problem. But it was later they realized that it's something that is between them. Do you understand? So the meeting could not hold. So they now adjourned the meeting to Abuja in 2024. That is when they came for the meeting, they now said they have sacked their president. That is where their own palaver started, and he took them to court. How they ended, they are still in court with themselves, we don't know.
Right.
But as far as we are concerned, we are the legitimate executive of the Nigeria Association of Auctioneers. We have the court judgment, and last month we filed a contempt proceeding against them because they said they want to hold another AGM and election on the 14th of this month.
Another annual general meeting.
Another annual general meeting and election. Why there is a legitimate executive in place?
That is a product of a court order.
The product of the court order. So what do? We go back to the court and tell them that these people are still
flouting the court order.
Exactly. They want to cause trouble. So we press from 48 and 49 against them, and the court has given order that they should go to Jos, the industrial court in Jos, to face the court. We went, our lawyers went there, they sent their lawyer to Jos to represent them. They were in Jos, when was the date? It was last month. But the court adjourned the matter to 24th of this month. But from what we are hearing, they said that they were still going ahead with their plan, AGM and election.
In spite of the court proceeding.
In spite of, assuming they have not been served, they have been served, and they have signed and received the service, and they sent lawyers to represent them. So they are effectively before the court.
Right.
So for any person that have any little sense in him, so if you go and hold any gathering now on the 14th, while you are supposed to be before the court on the 24th.
In Jos.
In Jos. So if you go back to court, what do you want to go and tell? And it's a contempt proceeding. It's a criminal case.
Yes, it is.
Very sensitive one.
Very, very.
Very sensitive one. So I want to see if they go ahead with what they are saying. Then when they go back to, because they are misinforming their followers, telling them that the case has been dismissed. But the issue is this. What I told my own, the people that comes to me and said that this is what they are saying, I said, fine. When the court gave an order inviting them to come and face them for contempt, it was published in the newspapers. So if this very one they are talking about has been dismissed, let them publish it in the newspaper.
All right, so I think you might also ask a question to wrap up now.
But with this back and forth in this fraction you're having in your association, isn't it causing a toll when it comes to individuals that will want to do business with you and all of that? There should be a bridge.
No. You see, the issue is there is always, not everybody can distinguish between education and intelligence. They are two different things. You can have all the certificates in this world, but you are not intelligent. You can see somebody walking in the street, right? He has never attended primary school, but he's intelligent. This is what we are saying basically is that they have been writing letters, sending to ministries and other places that anywhere they see our people from our faction, they shouldn't consider them to. How about you? Will it take me 1 minute to diffuse that this thing? It will not take me. I have a court document with me that gave me, and I have when the court asked us to go and do our AGM and election, they said whatever is decided in that AGM and election they should be informed.
Right.
So after everything, we have taken everything and filed a motion in court and said the directive you have given, the order you have given us, has been carried out. We are in Ibadan. We did our AGM and election, and these are the proof of everything. It's with the court. So if you now write everything, we have published 2 or 3 items now, and they have not replied us. They have not replied us. So we are on the right path. So we don't have to fear anybody. But what I'm saying basically is that we need to, because if care is not taken, on that day, there may be breakdown of law and order. Because wherever they are holding that their AGM and election, there are some of our people, even though we are calming our people down, there are some people that might go and try to take the law into their hands. At the end of the day, who is going to be held responsible? They are the ones.
Right. Very true.
They are the ones. Because, and I can tell you, if they go ahead, I hope some of them are listening, if they try to go ahead, if anything happens there, they should know that they will be held responsible. Because there is a valid court order as it is now, and they have been served. I want them to deny the fact that they have been served.
And you said they also acknowledged receipts.
Of course, they acknowledged receipt.
Signed.
They signed and collected service. So they cannot say they are ignorant of what is happening in court, and they have been represented in court. They are represented.
Right.
So for them to go and now say they will sideline the court and go and do as it pleases them, if anything happens,
it's at their own detriment.
It's to their own detriment. They know they will be held responsible. It's as simple as that. But we are not troublemakers. We follow due process. We go. If anything happens, we know where to go. There are courts. We can go to court and seek for redress in court. We are not going to find trouble with it. But everybody has his own followers.
That's right.
And it is not possible in some cases to say you control all your followers. It is not possible.
Right. Yeah, it's not.
It is not possible. And a lot of people that are our followers, if they had, the moment they heard that something like this is taking place, they want to go there and cause trouble. And do you blame them? Because they know there's an effective executive in place. If you have any issue, you have to first and foremost clear the case in court before you can't take the laws into your hands.
Right, so we totally agree with that. Nobody should take the laws into their hands.
Exactly.
Incidentally, this is the much time we allow us to take in this discussion. But we understand that there's already a court process in motion now.
Sure.
So let's not go surgeries on that. Let's hope it turns out in the interest of all the licensed, legitimate auctioneers.
Exactly.
And I would like to say a big thank you to you, Alhaji Musa Kura Abubakar, President of Nigeria Association of Auctioneers, for coming to have this discussion with us this morning.
Thank you so much. The pleasure is mine. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
All right, that's what we're leaving it on Global Morning today. I would like to say we appreciate you as well for the time you have invested with us here on the program. Remember that the views of all of our guests across all programs, including here on Global Morning, are their opinions. I'm Uyi Agmofwebe.
And I am Jumai Manson. Thank you so much, Alhaji Musa Abubakar, for being a part of the program again, for sharing your wheels of knowledge when it comes to this issue of auctioneering in Nigeria. Have an amazing day ahead. From Uyi and I, we say bye-bye.